Oi pessoas, sejam muito bem-vindos a mais um vídeo aqui no canal Eunerd. Eu estou de volta com vocês, porque chega! Eu preciso fazer essa missão antes do próximo patch. E eu já vou dizendo pra vocês que essa missão, o primeiro pedaço dela eu tive que gravar com o meu celular, porque deu errado. Eu abri o Genshin pelo celular e fui até o Santuário de Surastana porque eu errei o teleporte. Mas vou passar pra vocês agora a primeira parte da missão do Santuário Decrépito, do Scaramouche.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatarasuna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tatarasuna? But that's all the way in Inazuma! Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here's just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything. Great! Let's go find out what this Tatarasuna mystery is all about.
Ok, vamos lá, vambora. Santuário Decrépito, eu quero muito ver o Scaramouche porque eu não vi ele ainda. Eu ainda não sei o que aconteceu.
All right, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper.
Nesse caso aqui eles estão falando sobre a história do Scaramouche, né?
If only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about her, this seems like the kind of thing she'd know about.
E aí, rapaziada, chegamos. Procurando por mim?
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
Se não acredita, vou embora.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started... examining the evidence. Sorry.
So what, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
I
Desculpe
see.
por não poder ajudar desta vez.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you
A
some
gente sabe mais de
background.
Tatarasuna do
This
que
all
vocês.
started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade.
Oh!
But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows.
Oh, uau, que
Apart from the
trágico.
swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger. Someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
É o Scaramouche.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This Kabukimono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first the
Pois é.
strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Estranho.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow, did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out.
Vamos,
It
desembucha.
just so happens that a friend of mine works at the Government Records Office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago.
400, uau.
Even back then, Tatarasuna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Ah, 400 anos é depois da destruição de Kenria, bem depois. Será que...
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in the story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Oh.
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara
Sabia.
clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
É a história do evento do Kazuha, a história da missão do Kazuha.
Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
Tem mais?
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired
Anda.
by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
Oh, nós sabemos quem é.
A puppet?
A gente sabe quem é. A marionete da Shogun que a Arconte Electro fez deve estar governando Inazuma com ela enquanto conversamos. Não poderia ser ela. O Kabukimono deve ser Scaramouche, mas o que ele estava fazendo 400 anos atrás em Tatarasuna?
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Talvez. Encarar Paimon e esperar que ela fique calada.
No! Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
Com
I
certeza.
agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Autor, Sawada. Dizem que aproximadamente às 3 horas da tarde desse dia, uma pessoa chegou em Tatarasuna. Ao ver os trabalhadores em uma fábrica, dirigiu-se até eles em um caminho pela montanha, arrastando a sola de seu sapato sobre a superfície dela. Seus passos emitiam um som a todos que o escutavam. Era como se eles não tivessem outro propósito senão abraçar as pedras preciosas entre as chamas. Somente alguém que viu esta cena poderia compreender essa emoção. Então o jovem cumprimentou os trabalhadores com euforia. Correu em direção a eles exultante e juntou-se à equipe sem um momento de hesitação. Um homem atarracado, uma cabeça mais alta que os outros, aproximou-se dele para lhe dar um tapinha nas costas e disse com deferência: "Olha quem está aqui, se não é Miyazaki da cidade de Inazuma. Tem mérito ter percorrido todo aquele caminho para ir e voltar de um lugar tão distante." Miyazaki abriu um sorriso que revelou sua juventude e inexperiência, mas permaneceu composto o tempo todo. O senhor Katsuragi disse que a cidade de Inazuma é território da Shogun e é de onde eu venho. Peguei o navio mais rápido, naveguei pela rota marítima mais rápida. Há algum perigo que eu não possa enfrentar? Boas notícias? Claro que sim. E quando terminaram de falar, começaram a rir enquanto acompanhavam os outros trabalhadores ao longo do caminho. Um jovem de roupas ordinárias e com um cachecol estava parado perante o forno, observando o fogo. As chamas utilizadas em ferrarias não são como as demais. A dimensão do fogo possui uma relação direta com a qualidade do aço da lâmina. Essa pessoa que olhava para o fogo não era comum. Havia um lagarto na ponta de seus dedos e ela estava com uma expressão sorridente. O espaço era gigantesco e sua fornalha era ainda mais profunda. Geralmente seriam necessárias muitas pessoas para trabalhar nela, mas ele estava sozinho aqui. Quando Katsuragi e Miyazaki entraram rapidamente, ele virou seu rosto de volta. Essa pessoa era Niwa Hinahide, o oficial de arsenal de Tatarasuna. Ele nasceu no clã Niwa, uma das 3 famílias da arte Ishin. Nunca havia competido com seus irmãos e irmãs, era um sucessor digno do clã. A prova disso era o respeito que os outros nobres possuíam por ele. Miyazaki embrulhou o documento cuidadosamente com um bordado e o entregou para Niwa, dizendo francamente: é como o mestre disse, esse seu velho parente da cidade nunca concordou com o nosso plano, mas o Diakame vale a pena tentar, por isso eu vou procurar alguém que possa nos patrocinar, e estou disposto a adquirir todo o necessário que vi na lista de suprimentos. Niwa desviou o olhar do relatório, assentindo. Quer os Carrederrar apoiem ou não, devemos estar abertos a novos métodos de forja. Katsuragi franziu a testa e exclamou: forjar espadas é uma arte complicada que requer técnica cuidadosa. Esses veteranos já são especialistas, mas ainda querem continuar aprimorando suas habilidades dia após dia. Não é assustador? Se Nagamasa estivesse aqui para ouvir isso, ele abaixaria o rosto de vergonha. Niwa riu. Katsuragi, como está a lâmina preciosa que o mestre do seu clã forjou? Katsuragi não pretendia manchar a honra do líder do seu clã, nem mentir para os amigos diante de seus olhos. Portanto, por mais que pensasse em uma boa resposta, não conseguiu encontrar as palavras certas para se expressar. A habilidade do Sr. Niwa afetou seu senso de humor? É por isso que ele não é capaz de entender piadas tão grosseiras como as nossas. Miyazaki se aproximou, escondendo o rosto com a mão. Niwa colocou o lagarto na palma da mão de Katsuragi. Ele estava prestes a falar quando de repente viu passos se aproximando ao longe, ressoando elegantemente no local. Pareciam ser os passos de um jovem. Olhando atentamente à luz do fogo, o formato de sua cabeça chamou a atenção. Era redondo e brilhante, lembrando uma espécie de pérola. O jovem colocou a caixa de comida de lado, balançando a cabeça. Katsuragi logo chamou: e a sua, não vai comer? Ao escutar isso, não soube o que dizer, e prontamente respondeu: está bem, eu vou provar. Vamos comer a mesma coisa, não precisa ser tão formal. Niwa respondeu. A pessoa balançou a cabeça de novo, como se algum pensamento tivesse saído de sua cabeça. O cabo Kimono estava na praia. Nas horas do crepúsculo não havia nenhuma luz no céu, mas nuvens trovejantes se agitavam, anunciando que uma tempestade estava para chegar. A superfície do oceano se escureceu e a tempestade forçou as nuvens a se abaixarem, obrigando a prestarem seu respeito para a terra. E era como se o cabo Kimono também tivesse se virado para o oceano para respeitá-lo. Não havia ninguém no caminho e ninguém sabia o que estava calmamente esperando nesse momento. Meu Deus, não acaba nunca! Mas depois de muito tempo, um grupo de nuvens escuras como corvos saiu voando dos céus, girando em direção ao cabo Kimono e rodeando como se fosse um pesadelo o envolvendo. Em um primeiro momento, ele não percebeu isso. Abriu seus olhos e depois de um tempo entendeu. Essas nuvens estavam vindo para atacá-lo. Um barco pesqueiro se aproximou rapidamente, as luzes da embarcação lentamente se apagando com o vento e a chuva. A neblina estava se espalhando, os pescadores no barco não conseguiam ver o mar. E exclamaram: ainda é o pôr do sol, por que não conseguimos ver nada? Não tem ninguém pilotando esse barco? As nuvens escuras agarraram o casco do navio e desviaram sua direção. Então eles controlaram o navio e o arrastaram para a costa com a ferocidade de um monstro. A poucos passos do local do incidente, o cabo Kimono estava com as mãos penduradas e a cabeça baixa, olhando para o resto do navio que havia sido estilhaçado. Da traineira que havia gritado de terror momentos atrás, apenas uma parte de seu braço permaneceu, causando um respingo. Este se agachou para admirar mais de perto o objeto estranho. De repente sentiu vontade de dar uma dentada nele. Oi? Mas não fez, pois aquelas nuvens fulvas já haviam devorado tudo o que restava do navio sem deixar vestígio. O cabo Kimono encarou por muito tempo, até que de repente acordou do seu devaneio. Ao acordar, as nuvens já haviam se dissipado, como se nunca tivessem estado ali. E o que aconteceu com aquele navio? Deve ter sido causado pela tempestade, certo? Quem sabe? O cabo Kimono não viu com clareza. Será que a Raiden estava destruindo as coisas? Sei lá. Katsuragi correu pela porta e exclamou: senhor, há um problema na forja. Procurei em todos os lugares pelo senhor Niwa e não há vestígios dele. O senhor Miyazaki também pediu ajuda há muito tempo, sem deixar nenhuma mensagem. Veja. Mikoshi Nagamasa virou-se gentilmente. A solenidade de seu rosto era tamanha que parecia estar se preparando para participar de um funeral. Então ele se preparou para dizer as palavras mais duras que ele provavelmente já disse. Lamento ser o único a informá-lo disso, mas Katsuragi e Miyazaki podem não voltar mais. O olhar de Katsuragi descansou nos ombros largos e rígidos de Nagamasa, enquanto ele olhava pela janela. As nuvens escuras se amontoaram sobre o mar, a escuridão invadiu o local e mergulhou o povo no terror. A escuridão tornou-se a única estação possível, como se uma besta abismal tivesse vindo para devorar Tatarasuna para sempre. Já morreram mais de 10 pessoas. É por isso que Katsuragi estava como se tivessem se É por isso que eles partiram para pedir socorro. Miyazaki foi o primeiro a zarpar. Quando ele partiu, essas nuvens haviam acabado de se formar. Quando chegou em Inazuma para clamar por ajuda, o senso comum lhe disse que isso não seria difícil. Mas muito tempo o ataque não retornou. O segundo, o terceiro e o quarto partiram, até que Cabo Kimono partiu navegando em um navio com um tempo tão ruim como este, e nunca mais ouvimos falar dele. Katsuragi o recebeu como seu próprio filho e o fez se sentir em casa, mas devido à situação turbulenta de Tatarasuna, ele temia a execução e foram a outro lugar para buscar asilo. Niwa desapareceu e ninguém sabia de seu paradeiro. Depois de algum tempo, Nagamasa convocou um exército de homens para realizar uma busca que começaria na forja e continuaria pela montanha. No entanto, eles não encontraram nada. Alguns pensam que algo infeliz aconteceu com Niwa, outros pensam que ele foi incapaz de receber a punição devido a um estranho incidente que aconteceu no passado. Isso levantou parecia descontente e furioso. Às vezes despertava mais medo olhar para o rosto dele do que enfrentar aquelas nuvens escuras. De repente, uma figura apareceu e desapareceu como um relâmpago. Nagamasa imediatamente notou uma presença estranha, então ele balançou sua espada para arrancar a máscara do suspeito. Ele estremeceu por um momento, mas como a marionete ficou atrás de Nagamasa com uma risada maldosa e disse: "Você está procurando alguém, senhor? Será que você está procurando por Niwa?" Nagamasa gritou em fúria. "Como você se atreve a falar sobre o mestre Niwa?" E perante uma lâmina que caiu sobre ele, a figura foi partida em uma neblina, mas só se podia ver uma sombra fantasmagórica. "Foi você quem matou o meu povo?" gritou o furioso Nagamasa, apenas para ser segurado pelo Katsuragi. Conforme seus sentidos retornaram, ele percebeu que estava prestes a cair na fornalha. As partes restantes parecem ainda não terem sido completamente escritas, mas é possível perceber que isso se trata de uma obra de ficção fantasiosa que utilizou o artigo de antes como fonte e depois imaginou outras partes. Ah, tá.
And please read my essay draft as well.
Não! Não! Quem quiser ler aí vai ler. Eu vou ler isso tudo, não. Ó, pausa. Pera. Pausa de novo. Pausa mais uma vez. Pausa outra vez. Cadê o 7? Pausa de novo. Aí, vai pausando. Mais uma vez. Aê. Ok, mais uma vez. Meu Deus, isso é grande, moço. Outra vez. Tá, eles acham que o Kabukimono tem alguma coisa a ver com o Mikoshi Nagamasa ter matado o Katsuragi.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it. Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Esse trem foi muito grande.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
É, parece mais uma light novel.
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
Eu deixarei vocês trabalharem.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Sim, senhor. A gente quer encontrar o Scaramouche. Ah! Scaramouche.
Hey,
Scaramouche.
that thing they were talking
Scaramouche.
about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it?
Sim.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh?
Sim.
After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Sim.
If you ask Paimon,
Vambora.
Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Oh? Ah, mentira que a Nahida deixou ele andar por aí. O que houve?
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
Olha lá ele lá.
the balladeer. No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Sim, senhora, Paimon. Sim, senhora. Santuário de Surastana. Scaramouche. 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 Vai, cadê ele?
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida, bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah, it's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey, what are you doing in the sanctuary of Surastana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I just have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal?
Oh.
You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Ah, fala sério.
Flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
That escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down? But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him
Quer dar
trick you.
porrada nele mesmo.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
You dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Pois é, ela é barra pesada.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer
Tadinho.
strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Former? You mean he's not a harbinger anymore? I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Oh, então ele te descartou como se fosse lixo.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui. And also between each of the harbingers.
Uau, quando você não é mais útil, eles te jogam
So as
fora.
long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Sério? Estou morrendo de pena.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen to him! Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Oh,
Nahida, are you
para, Paimon.
serious about this? Yes.
Ele não tem poder nenhum,
I
querida.
have my reasons for
Chega.
this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
Para mim?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Ooh.
You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point.
Descidos.
It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era.
Oh.
Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the
então ele
balladeer to search in
sabe o que
Irminsul for
procurar.
any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of
Ele que
information
descobriu.
and should be able to find it more quickly.
Ele que descobriu isso no primeiro evento do jogo. Nossa, eles estão linkando lá atrás com aqui na frente. Uau. E se ele mentir para você?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him! I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There's a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Obrigada, Nahida.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Ok.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help? I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease.
Ok.
Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
A gente vai poder descobrir o que aconteceu, ué. Só eu que tô aqui no escuro, que não fiz essa missão. Fico feliz em poder ajudar.
Great. Thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Já? Logo de cara assim?
Wow. It looks pretty different here compared to last time.
Olha, o céu...
Colors are gentler. Guess that must
É.
be because Sumeru's at peace now.
As cores estão bem diferentes. Não tá vermelho. Ai, pra cá. Não tá vermelho.
Look at
Legal.
that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Nahida me enviou para ser sua babá.
Beef, jailbird. No way a prisoner gets to be so smug.
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards. But right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul.
Oh.
It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information.
Oh.
You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Entendido.
Fine. Let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with
descobrir o que
Lesser Lord
aconteceu.
Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
Uau.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Nah, tô tranquila.
Ugh, the smirk on this guy. It's unbearable.
Foca em fazer seu trabalho.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Uau. Parece um computador.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Que legal. Ok.
Wow. So this is the inside of Irminsul.
É diferente do que eu imaginava. Uau.
Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Tevat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Nossa, que
we will now
legal.
proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen? What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay
Ela é
safe,
cruel.
your best option is to stick close to me.
Vambora, Scaramouche. O pássaro noturno se retira com o cair das cortinas. Oh!
These sapling things have spread out.
A dispersão dos fragmentos aparentemente
Those are all
também...
packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
Sim, senhor. Ele mandou não tocar, por que que ele tá indo perto?
It looks the same in every direction. No
Oh,
wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know?
Wow.
He was actually telling the truth.
isso é muito confuso.
Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Ok,
We're
tá muito
here.
interessante.
What a huge tree!
Este é o centro da Irminsul. Todas as informações do mundo estão fluindo através dela.
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
Ele não está oferecendo nenhuma resistência e ele parece trabalhar bem na linha de frente. Talvez ele tivesse um papel similar a esse nos Fatui? Primeiro as histórias de Akaba e Sawada, agora isso. Que indivíduo estranho.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Sim,
Will
senhora.
do.
For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Oh? Nahida? Essa é uma conversa telepática?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
Acho que você não quer que perturbemos Scaramouche.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
I've never tried this before. This is great.
Pobre Paimon ficou de fora da última
I've
vez.
been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Sim, e ele parece ser excepcional em fazer bicos para os outros.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Isso é sobre o passado dele, as traições e os outros eventos em Inazuma?
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Na verdade, eu tive um vislumbre de algumas coisas quando encontrei Hypatia em Parte's DI. Você compartilha o que viu na mente de Scaramouche em Parte's DI.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that
Sedge.
guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay.
Vai demorar
The
muito?
topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the kabuki mono and so on, yes. I know about all of
Conta!
that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained.
Conta
And
logo.
most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Você conta na Rida sobre a história que Akaba e Sawada estão escrevendo.
Oh, how interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gese got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Oh, sabotada?
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
Nós temos todo o direito de manter certas coisas confidenciais.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait, how did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before.
Pois é.
And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Cada conversa com você é trabalho duro, mas sua atitude é melhor do que eu
Right
esperava.
now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
Ele encontrou alguma coisa.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Dados anônimos?
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Oh, dados anônimos?
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatarasuna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
Oh, wow.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
Esse nome, Niwa, ele era o homem no comando de Tatarasuna. Além disso, ele pertence à linhagem da arte Ishin. É os acontecimentos de 400 anos
I
atrás?
have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatarasuna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant village. People are gainfully employed. Their lives have purpose. They are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown. All passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every
Esse cara de
smith brought into this
Fontaine?
trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would
a
have
mecha
joined
vermelha.
forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of
Que
Tatarasuna's
estranho.
key consultants, working right here
Tá
alongside
estranho,
us.
tá estranho.
I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma. And it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate.
Foi culpa de
And
Fontaine?
recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Uau.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
Oh, wow.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine.
Sabia que ele era de
Are you sure you're
Fontaine.
not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some
Oh, wow.
responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Sinceramente, realmente, os comentários de vocês falando que muito provavelmente Fontaine vai tomar uma porrada de Celestia, eu acredito.
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatarasuna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left?
Ele vai
Did
matar
you
ele.
have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment.
Ele vai matar ele. Sabia.
A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
Ele matou o Niwa. Putz. E o Scaramouche pensou que ele tinha sido traído
You're a
pelo
little
Niwa.
smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all.
Oh, wow.
And
Hã?
yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Eu conheço essa voz. Eu conheço muito essa voz. Dottore?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you
É o
told him
Dottore,
yourself. You're
mentira.
not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. This makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this?
Oh, wow.
It's no
Mentira.
trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you
Mentira.
must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you,
Wow.
that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people.
Putz.
The
Doutora,
only
seu filho da mãe.
who think like that are people like you.
Eu acho que o que merece se ferrar mesmo nessa história é o Dottore. Porque, por favor, caramba, o
What
cara
a
é cruel.
beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr.
Realmente,
Niwa, let's see what
retiro o que eu
happens.
disse.
Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible.
Retiro o que eu disse. Celestia vai sentar o cacete em Snezhnaya mesmo. Não tem jeito. Eles estão fazendo por merecer já há tempos demais.
Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity.
Tem que mandar o Pilar pra lá urgente. Já passou da hora.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
Uau.
Hey, are you alright?
Dottore?
Oh,
Dottore!
oh, deu ruim.
Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
Ele estava por trás do incidente de Tatarasuna.
Why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so. But it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
Uau. Essa traição foi uma mentira que ele acreditou por centenas de anos. Isso foi parte do experimento do Dottore? Se a traição nunca aconteceu, ela existiu apenas na imaginação dele. Mas onde isso deixa?
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to
Ele
be
parece
near him
doido.
right now.
Ok, vamos ficar
You
ali.
need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Paimon's still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn
Wow.
this someday.
Essa foi pesada, rapaz.
So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the kabuki mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was
Uau.
all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor.
Oh, uau, ele
Everything he
planejou
did
tudo
was
desde o
just
início,
to
não é
plant
possível.
seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the
Mentira.
unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject.
Uau.
After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the mechanic answered. He fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for. He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic
Que
removed
triste.
the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an
Oh,
innocent
wow.
man and pinned everything on the victim? That's
Isso é
terrible.
terrível. Ser traído e abandonado por um amigo próximo é certamente causa para grande ressentimento. Agora sabemos o que estava por trás da decisão dele de se vingar de Raiden Gokaden, 100 anos atrás. Mas isso não significa que a vingança foi a decisão correta.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Eu tô triste por ele. Tô muito
Dotori, you
triste.
brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Tadinho. Quanto tempo a gente tem que dar pra ele? Bem, eu espero que vocês tenham gostado desse vídeo. Eu estou finalizando ele aqui nesse exato momento, porque senão ia ficar muito longo. E eu sei que vocês reclamam de vídeos bem longos no canal, tá? Não precisa me relembrar nos comentários, mas pode me relembrar nos comentários. Eu não ligo. Eu tô gostando bastante da missão do Scaramouche, né? Nesse momento eu já acabei ela. E eu confesso que... foi boa. Vocês tinham razão. Eu demorei muito pra fazer. Mas não se esqueçam de dar um gostei aí embaixo, compartilhar esse vídeo com seus amigos, dar uma olhada lá na vaquinha do canal, o link tá aqui na descrição. Bora ajudar a juntar os R$300 pro Hogwarts Legacy. Eu acho que a gente já tem R$55 no momento que eu tô gravando essa finalização. Então falta pouco. Falta só 245. Ah, não se esqueçam, os links pro Discord e pra Twitch estão aqui embaixo na descrição também. E no mais é isso. Espero que vocês tenham gostado do vídeo. E eu fui, até mais!